Okay, this is going to take place of your reteach. It's going through a couple examples of slope, table, graph, ordered pairs, and then we're going to talk about triangles and parallel lines cut by a transversal. So let's start with finding slope from a table. There's a couple of different ways you can do it, so I will show you both. We're going to do the change in y over change in x, and you're just going to subtract. How do I get from 0 to 2? I'm going to add 2. And how do I get from 9 to 4? I'm going to take away 5. So plugging in the difference here, what's the difference in our y values is a -5. What's the difference in our x values is 2. So your slope is -5 over 2. You can also use the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if you rewrite these as ordered pairs, your first ordered pair would be here, 0, 9. So your ordered pair is 0, 9. And our second ordered pair is 2, 4. Okay, so then you just have to label them. This one is your x1, y1, x2, and y2. Now substitute your values where they belong. y2 is 4. y1 is 9, x2 is 2, x1 is 0. 4 minus 9 is -5, and 2 minus 0 is 2. And you're left with -5 over 2. All right, example 2. You're already given the ordered pairs, so I'm going to show you both ways here as well. So you can take this as ordered pair 1 and ordered pair 2. x1, y1, x2, y2. Use the formula y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Substitute everything in. So y2 is 7 minus y1 is 2. x2 is 4 minus x1 is 1. 7 minus 2 is 5. 4 minus 1 is 3, and your slope would be 5 over 3. You're going to leave them as improper fractions. You don't need to do anything more, plugging it into your calculator, getting to a decimal. Just leave it as 5 over 3, because this represents your rise and the run value. We could graph that. Okay? You could also take your ordered pairs and you could plug them into an XY table. Okay, and your first ordered pair is 1, 2. Your second ordered pair is 4, 7. Looking to find your difference, we have, how do I get from 1 to 4? I have to add 3. How do I get from 2 to 7? I have to add 5. And then I'm going to do my change in y over my change in x. Change in my y values is 5. Change in the x values is 3. And again, you have 5 thirds. All right, example 3. The main mistake that I was seeing when I was looking at your tests for these types of problems is you weren't taking into consideration what the x and y axis was counting by. So in this case, my y-axis is counting by 10. So each one of these lines is representing 10. And then if you look on your x-axis, this one is counting by 1s. So it's not going to be the same on your x and on your y. So you need to pay attention to that. Okay? And you need to make sure that you're finding points that cross completely on an x and a y. They cannot be anywhere in the middle of the line. So we're going to take this point down here as 0, 0. And I'm going to continue along my line until I find a point that crosses exactly on an x and y, that I could write the ordered pair. So the ordered pair that I'm starting at is 0, 0. My second ordered pair that I picked up here. Remember, you have to walk to your elevator before you can go up or down. In this case, it's 2 on the x and 50 on my y. Okay, so be very close, pay close attention to that you're not just counting each of those lines. Okay, if you want to do, there's plenty of ways you can do this. You can make your XY table from here. Plugging in your ordered pairs, we had 0, 0, and our second one is 2, 50. What is our change? Add 2, add 50. Change in y over change in x is 50 over 2, which simplifies to 25 over 1, which is 25. Okay, if you're making your slope triangles, you're going to do the rise over the run. And if you do not pay attention to your increments that it's counting by, you would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You would count 5 on the y-axis. But that 5 is really representing 50 because each one of your lines is counting by 10. So the rise is a plus 50. And our run value is counting by ones, so that one is 2. Again, 50 divided by 2 is 25. So pay attention to your scales. Number 4, solve for the missing angles. Okay, 3 interior angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So you need to set up an equation that takes everything that we have for each of those angles, add them together, and set them equal to 180. So we have x is our first angle, then we have x plus 2, and our third angle is 72. I'm going to add all of those together and say that they equal 180 degrees. Now, combine your like terms. We have an x and another x, which gives me 2x. And then I have 2 and 72, which makes 74. Subtract 74 from both sides. 2x equals 106. Divide by 2, x equals 53. Okay? Now, at this point, a lot of you were able to tell me what the x value equals, but you didn't go back and reread your directions and make sure that you were solving for x. This problem says solve for the missing angles. I don't want to know what x is. I want to know what all of those missing angles are. So I plug x back in. So this angle right here is 53 degrees. And I can also plug x in right here, and I get 53 plus 2, which is 55 degrees. So pay attention to what it's asking you for. Let's go to example 5. Parallel lines cut by a transversal. In the figure, line M is parallel to line N. If the measure of angle 3 equals 7x minus 10, and the measure of angle 6 equals 5x plus 10, what is the measure of angle 3 and angle 6? So the first thing you need to decide, angle 3 and angle 6. What type of angles are they? Okay, they are alternate interior angles, which you need to decide, are they congruent to each other or are they supplementary? Okay, are they the same? Or are they two lines that add together to make 180 degrees? In this case, 3 and 6 are both acute angles, so they're equal to each other. We can say that the measure of angle 3 equals the measure of angle 6. I know what the measure of angle 3 is. The formula tells me I can substitute, instead of the measure of angle 3, I can say that it's 7x minus 10. And the measure of angle 6 is 5x plus 10. Okay, now I need to solve for x. I am going to subtract 5x from both sides. I'm left with 2x minus 10 equals positive 10. Add 10 to both sides. 2x equals 20. Divide by 2. X equals 10. Go back and double check. Was it asking for the value of x or was it asking for your angle? It says what is the measure of angle 3 and angle 6. So we need to plug in x back into our angles. So the measure of angle 3 is 7x minus 10. Plug in x. 7 times 10 minus 10. 7 times 10 is 70. Minus 10 is 60. So the measure of angle 3 is 60. And then let's double check with the measure of angle 6. Measure of angle 6 is 5x plus 10. Plugging in again, plug in 10 for x. 5 times 10 plus 10. 5 times 10 is 50. Plus 10 is 60. So the measure of angle 6 is 60. And you can double check because at this point, we figured out at the very beginning that the measure of angle 3 and measure of angle 6 should equal each other, and they do. All right, good luck. Make sure you're showing all your work and doing well on your test corrections.